Hello, this is Ian, Somerset News Network. I turned on the YouTube last night. We were watching the snooker. And we turned over and watched Tousi TV. He's got live coverage of a demonstration outside of the Iranian embassy. The pro-people protests of Iran and Iranian nationals that are here, getting away from the radical Muslim regime, are protesting outside the embassy. They've been doing it for about a week. When it first started, somebody got up onto the balcony of the embassy and changed the flag over from the Islamic Republic to the old Ayatollah, that Shah flag with the lion and sun on it. I thought it was quite good as a peaceful protest. Anyway, you've got to remember, we have a Muslim mayor. We have a government that is not condemning the actions of the Iranian extreme Muslim government. I think it's wrong. I think we should be supporting the Iranian people to decide their own fate. There has been over 1,000 killed peaceful protesters on the streets of Iran over the last week. First of all, it was a couple, then it was 200, now it's in the thousands. The IRGC, who's in charge, are killing their own people on the streets. It's inhumane. It's brutal. It's evil. Tousi TV is spotting this out. Now, if you want to see the video, go on to Tousi TV. You will be shocked. The protests are there. The police are there, all in riot gear. Then the police go around in a semicircle around the protesters. Now, all week they've been apart. Protesters have been there and the police have stood back. Now, for some reason, the police went into a semicircle in front of the protesters. And then, in my view, attacked them. Were they told to do this? Have they put the police on steroids or something? They had an aggressive stance, holding their truncheons up like this for a peaceful protest. They're trying to make the protesters look like the problem. They dragged a few of them out, and there was 5 of them sat on one guy, and then there was another guy with 4 policemen on him. Then there was an old man with blood coming down his face. They even arrested a reporter with a name tag on, saying press. I've never seen anything like it on the streets of London. I am absolutely disgusted with our police. And if someone starts calling the Met Police the Met Gestapo, I think that's a fitting name to call them. Absolutely disgusting, their attitude, their actions. The BBC this morning said that 4 policemen were injured. What will the report say? Sorry, Your Honour, my fist, his head made a vicious attack to my fist. That's the sort of thing that will happen now. They will fabricate the evidence to justify their actions. They're out of control. And who's in charge of the Met Police? Oh, that'll be the mayor. And who's the mayor? He's a Muslim. You see how this works? And the government are helping the extreme tyrannical regime of Iran. I think it's absolutely disgusting. The Met Police are now the Met Gestapo. This is how Germany started in the 1930s. People were protesting against Hitler and they were just disappeared. Ended up in all these work camps. Didn't have the final solution in the early days. They just put them in work camps. They ghettoed all the Jews, and poets, political thinkers, gypsies, they were put in all these work camps. We're putting people in prison for Facebook posts. Can't you see what's happening in this country? And this is going all around the world. This is modern Britain. Welcome to the Nazi party that's the Labour Party of Britain. And the Met Police are now the Gestapo. Their actions prove it. It's not the British policing that we understand. Absolutely disgusting. How do we remedy this? The only thing we can do is keep talking about it. Watch Tousi and become a member. Help him out. Help him get the message out. I tried to download the video and I've had all sorts of problems this morning. I videoed it on my camera on the phone. My PC is now not recognising my phone. I don't know why. I had an update on the phone last week and it won't recognise my camera and my phone. Unbelievable. I just don't understand why. It's been working up until now. I get an update on the phone and all of a sudden it doesn't work. Don't know what's happening. Don't know why. I've got to work on it. But go to Tousi TV and watch the video. You'll see the protesters. You'll see the police in riot gear. They go in a semicircle and then they attack the protesters. It's there for all to see. And they drag one bloke out and just sit on him and hold his head down. They're not terrorists. They're Iranians. They've left their country because of the extreme regime there. They are protesting against their government. And this is the way we treat them? I think people have got to really start asking some serious questions. Whose side are we really on? Looks like we're on the side of the murderers and the evil regime of Iran. Tousi TV, you're doing an absolutely brilliant job. Keep up the good work. And I urge everybody to go to Tousi TV and catch up and find out what's going on in Iran. I think he's got the best coverage of anybody. Oh, like I said, the BBC came out and said that 4 police officers were injured in the last night protest and there were some arrests. I think it is absolutely disgusting. You can see it on the video. And the police are even threatening the people videoing, the journalists that are videoing. The police are actually threatening the press. It ain't supposed to happen like that. The Met Gestapo police have gone rogue. And somebody's got to step in and say something. We know the Met police officer now has resigned. Oh, he's retired. Sorry. He hasn't resigned. He's retired. They used fake ID evidence to justify stopping the Israeli football fans from coming to Aston Villa. All built on a lie. This is modern policing. I can name 3 corrupt police officers that tried to arrest me over the last 10 years. The first incident was reporting somebody shooting illegally and got thrown off by the farmer. The police came to see me about my Facebook post because I reported the incident. The police officer said that it was harassment of the guy who was shooting illegally. And they were going to arrest me. I said, well, I didn't name him. So the policeman took out a copy of my Facebook post. He read it, saw that I didn't name him, shut it, and walked out the door. And then he turned to me and said, he did have permission, you know. I said, no, he didn't. The farmer wouldn't have thrown him off if he had permission. The second incident was 2 years later. He was shooting in some woodland. Now, the guy that owns the woodland has made it into a wildlife sanctuary. Now, I first got to know him because I was the warden for another piece of woodland alongside of it in Avon Wildlife Trust, and I was the voluntary warden for it. And that's how I got to know him. Anyway, I said to him, do you allow this guy to shoot on your ground now? I suppose, Ian, you know nobody shoots on my ground. Next time he's there, you ring me and let me know. And he gave me his phone number. So I phoned him. He's there. I've just come out of hospital, said the old man. I can't go down there. Can you come down and ask him to leave, please? I'm a shooting man. I want honest shooters. Now, if he calls the police, they're all going to lose their tickets, their shotgun certificates. And I didn't know at the time, but there could have been 2 police officers in his gun club shooting at that time. There was 2 police officers in the first incident that got thrown off the farm. This is all linked. Because he's got police officers in his gun club. And this shows you how corrupt the police have got. So I get a police officer at the door. Please, can I have a copy of the video? Because I videoed the interaction. And I said, yeah. So I copied it onto disc and gave it to him. They said, well, we'd like to interview you. I said, yeah, all right. So they came into the kitchen. We sat down. We can't identify where it is. I said, yeah, you can, because I told you. I told you exactly where it is. And if you go up there now, you'll see there's cartridges all over the floor. Underneath the trees. And there'll be at least 6 places where there'll be cartridges on the floor. Because they don't pick them up. Oh, we can't. I said, I'll give you the name of the guy. You verify if anybody's got permission to shoot on the ground. He asked me to remove him. Anyway, I gave him the name of the guy, the landowner, and he went. Next thing I know, he's coming back with a sergeant. We're thinking of arresting you for harassment. Now, the guy was shooting illegally. He's got police officers in the gun club, and there might have been police officers shooting on that day. We know there was 2 police officers on the first incident that I reported, but I didn't know that at the time. I found that out afterwards. Now we find out that the copper that's interviewing me is training the guy that runs the gun club in Freemasonry. You can't make this up. And they're trying to arrest me for harassment. Anyway, I told the story again. The sergeant listened. The sergeant took the copper outside in the garden. I don't know what was said. But the sergeant came back in and said, don't worry, Ian, I will sort it. What this copper doesn't know is that most of my family is in Freemason. I'm not a Freemason. But most of my family are in the village here, in the town. You know, I don't know what's going on. I'm just poor old little me. And then we have the last incident this year, where the police officer rung me up over a complaint of a Facebook post. I put a quote on Facebook, and somebody who's involved with LBGQ found it offensive. So they notified the police, but they used a sock puppet. How do I know it was a sock puppet? Because it was a false name and it was on my Facebook group that I run. And I checked it out, and yes, it was a sock puppet. And it was a sock puppet of the guy who got thrown off on the first two incidences. And the copper that came to see me may, according to my mate, have been one of the coppers that was thrown off of the farm in the first incident. You can't make this up. This is how corrupt the police are. And it's on show in London for the rest of the world to see now. I wouldn't trust the police officer as far as I could throw him now. Anyway, this is Ian. Disgruntled cross. And are we going to get back to honest policing? I don't know. We need people who can stand up and be counted, and I'm standing up and counting. Anyway, Tousi CV if you want to see the video, because I couldn't upload it and put it on air. Anyway, bye-bye for now.